With each passing day, we are admonished to reach for the future. Yet there comes a time to look back to see where we've been, to glance at the past, to pay homage to those that have gone before us. However, many of our memories as a people have slipped through the fingers of time and are lost for a while. Until recently, such was the Coweta Cemetery. But things are changing.
So after a while, I got involved in the community and the neighborhood and spearheading the cleanup of the creek along in town. City officials kept on driving by and asking, hey, we got this cemetery out here that the Historical Society give us. We don't know what to do with it. If you'd be interested, come out and look at it. So about 2.5 years ago, we got our project kind of done in town and come out and looked at it and said, are you kidding me? We got 8 acres of nothing but forest that you can't walk through. Got several volunteers from the American Legion and friends and a lot of equipment. We went out and purchased a lot of equipment on our own so that we would have that for other volunteers that came out. And they started working 1 weekend a month and doing 20, 30 feet a month. And then Creek Nation got involved, and that's when things really started happening with the cemetery crews and everything coming out regularly, helping us.
Well, we're out here at Bruner Cemetery, Coweta Mission, and the Historic and Cultural Preservation Department's out here, and they're helping conduct a ground penetrating radar survey. Some people call it GPR, and what it is a non-invasive method that is used to kind of penetrate the ground to see what's down there. So we use it, FBI uses it, construction workers use it. A lot of people use it just because you don't have to dig. It's a very simple way of kind of looking to see what's beneath without having to disturb what's there already. So, and that's what we're going to be doing today, is covering this whole area and trying to see how many more burials are out here that aren't denoted by headstones.
This is where you look at all your data when you're performing the GPR survey, and when you push it along each transect, it'll start collecting data, and we're looking mainly for hyperbolas, which we call them anomalies. So anomaly is something that we know is buried underneath the ground, and what we're trying to look for are the unmarked burials. So if you can imagine like a rock and you're pouring water over it, these electromagnetic pulses are going on either side of that rock, creating like an arc effect, and that's your hyperbola.
So we got involved over 6 months ago. Mike Walker, who you talked to earlier, he called and wanted us to kind of help out with the cleaning a little bit. And so our cemetery crew, that's part of our department, came out and they helped with that. And then also I believe that Tribal Driveways and Roads helped with putting the bridge, able to come over here, you know, drive over. And then we got involved because they wanted to know how many burials were out here, because you can kind of see the headstones that are out here, but there's a lot that's unknown. This area was so overgrown that a lot of things got knocked over, a lot of things have gotten buried, so we're looking to see what other burials are out here. And we know there's more out here, we just have to find them and see, and that's why we have the GPRs to do that. No, it's a large area. We're hoping to get at least one of these blocks done today, especially with the headstones and stuff. With our GPR, we're not able to just cleanly go over them. We have to stop and start, and so it'll take at least the rest of the week to cover this area. And we may have to come back later. But also after we finish the field methods, we actually just have to take it back and download all the data and do that and go through each line and make sure we're looking to see what anomalies did occur during our survey. So what we see when we have the GPR, it's not like on CSI where you see a body. So this just shows that there's something down there. So it's sending this radar pulse into the ground and it's bouncing off of something that's down there. And that's what it's doing today. Once we run over, it'll show us some kind of indication. But we won't really know what it is until we take it back and look at the data. But once we figure that out, we can come back out and find the areas and flag them and say, well, this is a probable burial. And we'll let them know, so they're able to put something there to kind of show that, hey, there's, a burial here. I'm the tribal archaeologist for the Muskogee Creek Nation.
It's attached to the Coweta Mission that was established in about 1842 with the Presbyterian Church, Reverend Lowenauer, that came up from Georgia to establish the teachings of Christianity and start a school for the Creek Indians. From all the Department of Interior and everything, it always has Coweta Mission on every map. And they spelled Coweta, C-O-W-E-D-A, K-O-W-E-T-A, K-O-Y-E-T-A. There's all kinds of spellings for Coweta. But in Lowenridge's writings, when his wife Olivia died in 1845, September 1845, he talks about burying her on the hillside by a bending oak tree in that fall of that year, where there was already others buried. So the cemetery was already established by Creek Nation. And you'll see the two Indian mounds that are identified on the map. There's one out in the pasture that we haven't located yet, and the one right here on the corner. Some of the significant people that are buried here is Coweta's first mayor, died in 1905. He also was a Union soldier. There's another individual by Perryman that's buried here, and he was both a Union and a Confederate soldier. So there's a military history here as well. Ernest Childers has family that is buried here, well-known Medal of Honor winner, and from this area. His family, born and raised here, and strong heritage with Creeks, full blood, and he has family buried here. It just goes from there. It's just an amazing story. It's a lot of historical value that we want to preserve for generations to come.